हमारे वक्त की धड़कन, हमारा चिंतन, हमारी भावनाएं, हमारे विचार, कभी कोमल बातचीत तो कभी इंटरेक्शन तेज तर्रार। तय करें मिलकर व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, व्हाट इज राइट। ITV पर अशोक व्यास के साथ इनसाइट टुनाइट।
नमस्कार, इनसाइट टुनाइट विद अशोक व्यास कार्यक्रम में आपका स्वागत है। आज है सोमवार का दिन और वीकेंड बिताने के बाद ताजा ढंग से जिस तरह आप अपने कार्य में जुट जाते हैं उसमें मदद करते हैं शब्द हमारे लिए एक दूसरे के प्रति जानने के द्वार खोलते हैं और समझ का पुल बनाते हैं। समझ का पुल बनाने के लिए हम शब्दों का प्रयोग करते हैं। भाषा हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है। भाषा चाहे जो हो, मनुष्य के विकास में उसकी सहायता निश्चित रूप से होती है, पर भाषा की बात को लेकर कभी कभी मन मुटाव भी बढ़ जाते हैं। हम में से कई भारतीय गौरवान्वित महसूस करते हैं जब भारत के प्रधानमंत्री हिंदी भाषा में अपने को व्यक्त करते हैं। संसद में उनका उद्बोधन हिंदी भाषा में होता है। उसके पीछे कहीं ये छुपा हुआ भाव भी रहता है कि हिंदी हमारी राष्ट्रीय अस्मिता से जुड़ी हुई भाषा है। पर फिर वही बात जब अधिकारियों को सोशल मीडिया में हिंदी भाषा के प्रयोग करने की हिदायतें देती हुई पहुंचती है तो उसको लेकर वाद विवाद उठ खड़ा होता है। भाषा हमें जोड़े और भाषा को लेते हुए हम नई नई ऊंचाइयों की तरफ बढ़ें, ये महत्वपूर्ण है। मोदी सरकार ने आने के साथ साथ जो जो कुछ किए हैं उनमें से कुछ कार्यवाहियां ऐसी हुई हैं जिसको लेकर अब जनता ये प्रश्न उठाने लगी है कि क्या अच्छे दिन आने के साथ रेल के किराए की कीमत बढ़ जानी चाहिए? क्या अच्छे दिन आने के साथ डीजल की कीमत बढ़ जानी चाहिए? क्या अच्छे दिन आ रहे हैं लेकिन फिर भी कानून व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से ठीक नहीं है? बातें बहुत सारी, पर बातों में एक बात ये, जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं मोदी जी के साथ आमिर खान और उन दोनों के बीच में आज के इस कार्यक्रम में बैठा हूं, पर मेरे साथ आज के कार्यक्रम में जो पैनल हमारी बातचीत को आगे ले जाने में सहायता करने वाले हैं, हमारा ज्ञान बढ़ाने वाले हैं इस बारे में कि क्या है वो नई वर्क कल्चर जिसको लेकर नरेंद्र मोदी जी ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं। एंड नाउ आई स्विच टू दिस लैंग्वेज व्हिच इज familiar for many Indians who come from South India, and today I have the pleasure of welcoming first of all VS Mani ji, who is from Chennai. Mani ji, स्वागत है आपका।
नमस्कार।
And then Vibhuti ji, who is been a Modi supporter and a regular for our show, and also I have the pleasure of welcoming someone who is known to have his heart with Congress party and now President of Indian Overseas Congress, Qazi साहब, स्वागत है आपका। सबसे पहले जब हम बात शुरू कर रहे हैं तो मैं आपके साथ ये भी याद कर लेना चाहता हूं कि what a dramatic change can happen in a person's life. One have to see at Narendra Modi, who was denied visa of America, and now while he is coming as Prime Minister of India in September, there are talks that probably he's going to be addressing Congress. So that is a great honor. Not only he's meeting President Obama, but also addressing sessions of Congress. So we open by trying to catch up with the general impression about the new work culture. And I would request Vibhuti ji to open up for us.
Thank you for having me here. It is a great pleasure to be sharing thoughts with you. India definitely needed a new work culture because we are progressing so rapidly to a new modernity that if we do not abandon old practices, we will not be able to adapt practices. So one of the things which has happened is, which I was very delighted to read, is that Mr. Modi is changing the format of the government by asking people to do something and not to do something. So for example, he recently issued a notification that for all scientific conventions, only scientists will attend and not non-scientists to attend the meeting, which is a very big thing because you do not want to create a bureaucratic impression on any conference which is attended by people who are not related to that. Second one, which I came to know of it today, that he's trying to simplify the filing of applications and papers. He has instructed all the government officers to simplify the forms that are required to be submitted. And he has introduced a very powerful concept of self-attestation, because you do not need to go to a district officer or gazetted officer to certify a document, which takes a lot of time. Because eventually, at the final stage, the papers have to be seen in original. So these are some very small steps which will lead to a leap in the Indian working pattern and working life. For instance, he has also brought about a discipline that come into the office, stay, work. And that's what is important, that people you must have heard that bureaucrats are now getting out of playing golf in the morning and things like that. But these are all matters of opinion. But a shift is required. And when you need a shift, a little push is required at the smallest levels. As my grandfather used to say, that great people did not become great because they did great things overnight. They did those small things right. So this is the step in the right direction in taking and attending to those smallest of details that will have a multiplier effect as you move forward.
So small details from the point of view of someone who would look at all these things from the viewpoint of Congress President Sonia Gandhi. So Junaid ji, the way you observed, we heard about work culture, and now you see probably people, government officials are reaching at 9 a.m. and we read that most of the ministers are also working from 9 to 9. So there is a kind of shift in the way the government machinery was functioning. That is one observation. But what has been your take on the whole thing?
It was a good statement by Vibhuti ji. To saying something and doing completely different. Statement, in one hand, you want to run the good governance, and Modi ji is very famous in Gujarat for saying that he's the chief minister of the good governance, and he ran the Gujarat in a fast track. Now you ask any Gujarati, he will tell you that what a mess he left in Gujarat, and now what he's going to do in country. But the thing is, he has the mandate, he got all the...
I have to interrupt you here because you said, I asked many Gujaratis, and in fact many of them call here and this.
No,
you were also listening to them.
But probably they believe in this BJP, that's why they praise on him. But you ask anybody, anyhow, whatever he's doing to make the country better, I'm with him. No problem. Congress always with the side of the progress people. I mean, if Modi claims to be, he wants to make the country better, very good, no problem. But in the other hand, you have to see 10 point, I can tell you, in railway, the budget's coming out 14% raise in the tickets. So now look at this. People don't have the jobs. They have 14% in the tickets, 6.5% on the cargo. Then you have 10 rupees in the cylinder. So he's not going to manage. It's going to be chaos soon. It's only 25 days done. But you will see.
So no, I gather you, and of course people don't like when there is price hike, and I would request Mani to respond. But before that, let me take a call with your permission. Hello, ITV Live. नमस्कार. आप तक हमारी आवाज पहुंच रही है, हम तक आपकी आवाज नहीं पहुंच रही है. Can you hear us? आप टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम करके बात करें. So I think we'll have to move on.
If I may just interject here about the price rise, railway price hike. Sure, go ahead.
To respond to this, and also there is another issue about black money, and there are reports that Swiss bank is likely to give some list of Indian people who have their untaxed money deposited there. So maybe, and allow me to also mention that Aam Aadmi Party's Prashant Bhushan said that this is happening because of Supreme Court's directives. So the government should not take any credit.
Yep.
Regardless of who takes credit for one of these, anything good that is going to come out of things, just getting back to the whole work culture and whatnot, it is early days, so we really cannot completely believe or disbelieve anything that Modi has put in place. But I do believe that at this point, the tone is being set. And he's basically been elected on the premise that he can do for India what he has done by way of e-governance that he has done in Gujarat. Now, we may all have issues with what he has done in Gujarat and what he has not done, but almost universally, people who have been to Gujarat and who have had any business dealings there have come back saying that things have been much more streamlined. So I think, as an outsider who's not affiliated with any party, it's been a long-standing joke in India how government bureaucrats operate. I think everybody has had all kinds of experiences going to the government and suffering through paperwork, endless cycles of bureaucracy. So if he can make any effort in streamlining and cleaning that up, I think it's going to be received very warmly.
So let me just see if I now hear you. Hello, can you hear us? अच्छा आप हैं तो हमारे साथ पर आपकी आवाज़ हम तक पहुंच नहीं रही है. So I'll go back to you with a little bit of connecting that moment when he was addressing at Varanasi right after his victory, and he said that उन्होंने हिंदी में कहा था, I'll say it in English, but he said that you don't think that you are giving me contract for 5 years. If we look at cleaning up of Varanasi, you don't think that I'm going to be doing it alone, meaning all of you are with me. And now again, while they were announcing this price rise in railways, they said that these are the bitter pills. But I think the first statement when he says that cleaning together, people would be willing to listen because nothing's going from their pocket. But these kind of bitter pills, do you think people would be in sync with the government's ideas?
Eventually, I suspect it will happen. The reason is very simple. In India, we have got used to a subsidy culture. But remember, in the economics and finance, what is important to recognize is that somebody is paying the price for that. So if you keep the price fixed, there is always an inflationary element which plays into the economy. So if you keep the price fixed, somebody is paying for it. Who is paying for it? So government prints notes or government subsidizes to the extent. Now that has no control, that loses control, that loses financial discipline. Because then what happens is that Mamata Banerjee said roll back the prices. But where will the surplus be generated?
I need to stop you.
Remember one thing, even the not-for-profit businesses, they have to generate surpluses to sustain their goals and objectives.
Right now,
so
Vibhuti, I just have to
subsidy element in the life of India.
I just have to tell you one thing. I need to stop you one thing. Congress.
I want to just add something, and then I want you to respond.
Okay.
So, if they are raising price 14%, whatever percent, they know that nobody would like it. So why would they do it? What is the compulsion? If you try to understand that logic which compels them.
Sir, there in India, you cannot. People, they have no food in their house and they have to travel. So there's no compulsion and there's no scene behind it that we can make the railway better at this thing. Right now, when the Congress left the government, surplus was 8,500 crores in the railway. Now, they're raising this 14% of the fare, which will completely kill the people who travel daily, commute to work. I mean, how are they going to pay this money? And Congress party always tried to bring the poverty line up and always help the poor. I mean, every policies by the Congress for the poor. And the subsidy, it's not the subsidy we have to give. We have no choice but to give the subsidy to upbring the poor, to bring to the society. That was the Congress whole thing. I mean,
it comes back to the same issue again, that somebody is paying for it. So, for example, in the US, how many times have we had the MTA fares going up? So people were unhappy. very
America
unhappy.
and India is
No,
completely
the question-
different, two different.
The issue is the same.
No, it's
Raising of
not.
the rail fare.
But
So
look
my
at the
question is
people.
very
Look at the
simple here.
people. They have to travel.
The simple issue is very simple.
Right.
Somebody has to pay. Not for profit also has to generate surpluses. If poor people have to be provided, how do you bring the discipline and ownership of
But
responsibility?
why
So
the,
that economic part of it, the economic argument has to get into social action. You just can't be giving subsidies, and subsidies. Eventually, the fiscal deficit goes up.
I'm against the subsidy, but we don't have the choice. Congress didn't have the choice. We have to give the subsidy to bring the people up.
Okay,
And it's not the choice. We have to.
allow me to
And we've been doing it. The food bill Congress leke aayi. Then whatever the good plans and policy for the poor, Congress always been working. Now,
let me interrupt
if I can just say one
and
quick-
we'll actually take your comments, but I just wanted to take a quick break. And before that break, let me just sort of sum up slightly. So there are certain political reasons for which you would either continue to give subsidy or you would not take that tough decision of rising prices, or maybe there are some long-term objectives, but there would be a difference in the view of different parties with respect to how to work with economy, and what money has to say about it, we'll find out right after this break. वेलकम बैक, यू वाचिंग इनसाइड ट्रेंड विद अशोक व्यास। और भारत में जब बढ़ती है महंगाई तो बहुत होता है अल्लाह गुल्ला, चीख पुकार, और निश्चित रूप से बात जब पहुंचती है आम आदमी तक, तो आम आदमी की तनख्वाह अगर नहीं बढ़ रही है और उसके खर्चे बढ़ेंगे तो मुश्किलें होंगी। और जो इस तरह की मुश्किलों का सामना करने की स्थिति एक नई सरकार के आने के साथ होती है, तो लोग ये सवाल करने लगते हैं कि अच्छे दिन आने वाले थे, कहाँ गए? So now back to you, Mani ji. What is your take on this?
Yeah, I just wanted to make two quick points. One is it's a little amusing to hear the Congress and the BJP have this take on the price rise, given that the Congress initially had proposed the price rise. Only reason that they rolled it back is because Mamta made a big fuss. This was like two years or so ago, and she had walked out of the government. So it's not as if the Congress had not considered doing this, because like Vibhuti ji had said, at some point you do have to decide on your subsidies going away. And the second point I wanted to make was, given the reality that at some point the subsidies have to be cut, you can't just keep it at an artificially low level. The best time to do it is in the first or second year of your term, so that hopefully by the time the later years roll along, people would have forgotten.
so basically,
good times will come.
I got your point, but the thing is, you want to. The government, BJP government, basically working for the rich people and working for the businessmen. They don't care about the small people and the poor people. This is what you want to bring into the
I'm not an apologist for the BJP.
the thing is, this is what it is. The thing is, you have to. There is a poverty in India. Like you have like 40% or 50% people are living lower than the poverty line in India. So somebody has to think about that.
Poverty line, but your party ran the country for as many years.
But they bring 10 million people. 10 million people create. Creating.
One time in your favor,
Creating Manrega, food bill. This is all the policies for the poverty.
Whatever Congress party did, as Mani rightly pointed out, that it was part of the Congress agenda, and you did not do it because of the opposition that came from
Congress.
Mamta,
Right now,
of coalition politics.
Look at this.
Here is what is going to happen. I'll tell you what. It is 25 days into the government, right? And
now everything all chaos
in
diplomacy.
Let me finish. What happens is that at the moment, what was the system in India? Sarkar sab karegi. It is sarkar ki responsibility hai. People had lost the sense of belongingness. Ye to sarkar ka kaam hai. So ये सब सरकारी है. As a result of which ownership of something suffered. These are very important, powerful elements in economic governance, that unless and until people believe that it is, I have a role to play in it, It doesn't happen. So people in India had become, as you rightly said, 40%, the number that you are quoting. I'm glad you said that. You are responsible for it.
Oh, we bring the people up. Before 1947 se pehle,
this is the effort being made to bring about a sense of responsibility that price is high, manage your resources.
How? There is no job. There is no job. There is no raising.
Allow me to try and connect with more viewers. Let's see if we can this time. Hello, ITV Live.
Hi, how are you?
Very nice. आप कैसे हैं?
ठीक हूँ।
तो जो बातचीत हम कर रहे हैं महंगाई के बारे में, जो अप्रोच मोदी सरकार की दिखाई दे रही है, उसके रेफरेंस में आप क्या सोचते हैं?
वो धीरे धीरे सब कुछ अच्छा करेंगे मोदी।
अच्छा,
काजी साहब से मैं एक पूछना चाहता हूँ।
हाँ, काजी साहब आगे जी।
जी,
राजीव जी ने कहा था कि 1 रुपये में से 16 पैसा ही
जी,
1 रुपये में से 16 पैसा ही जनता के पास जाता है।
जी,
बाकी के पैसे कहाँ जाता, वो राजीव जी ने जांच क्यों नहीं कराई?
जी, अब देख लेंगे सर कितना पैसा जाता है जनता तक।
तो योजना कौन सी योजना सफल हुई, आप मुझे बताएं।
हर योजना, मनरेगा ले लीजिए, आप फूड बिल ले लीजिए, जितनी भी अच्छी योजनाएं थी कांग्रेस लेके आई, और अब जितनी योजनाएं अच्छी योजनाएं थी खत्म करने का काम आपकी पार्टी कर रही है।
कितना टन अनाज सड़ गया कांग्रेस के राज में? कितना टन अनाज सड़ गया? लोग भूख मरते हैं और अनाज तो सबने आपने सड़ा दिया।
सर वो तो एक आध जगह, वो कहीं पे मध्य प्रदेश में हुआ है जहाँ पे शिवराज सिंह चौहान चीफ मिनिस्टर थे, वहीं का हुआ है। आपकी सरकार के चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं, एक ही जगह हुआ और कहीं नहीं हुआ।
ये क्यों बात करते हो? मगर आपने तो 40 साल, कांग्रेस ने तो 40 साल राज किया। कांग्रेस ने 40 साल राज किया। क्या किया
कांग्रेस ने? इंडिया बना दिया सर, इंडिया बना दिया। हम लोगों की इज्जत सिर्फ कांग्रेस की वजह से है, ये तो समझो आप। और ये अच्छे दिन जो आपके दिख रहे हैं आपको, कितने दिन तक अच्छे दिन आते हैं देखेंगे, थोड़े दिन तक और देखते हैं।
तो आप हमारे साथ बने रहें, बातचीत जारी रखते हैं और बढ़ते हैं एक और दर्शक की तरफ आपकी अनुमति से। हेलो ITV लाइव।
हेलो,
हाँ जी, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी,
कैसे हैं आप?
ठीक हूँ, कृपा है भगवान की।
तबीयत कैसी है आपकी?
इसे बात कराइए।
हाँ, जरूर करिए। जुनैद जी से।
हेलो,
हाँ, टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम करें और आपका सवाल उनसे पूछ सकते हैं।
अच्छा जी,
सर नमस्ते।
नमस्ते। हाँ, अशोक जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार, नमस्कार साहब।
कपूर बोल रहा हूँ।
हाँ, कपूर साहब, कैसे हैं आप? जी,
ये कह रहे हैं अब गरीबों के लिए स्कीमें बनाई हैं। दे हैव मेड स्कीम्स फॉर पुअर, बट हु इज द पुअर? एक मद्रास से आके बर्तन साफ करती है दिल्ली में, उसका तो कार्ड बना नहीं। और जो मोटरसाइकिल रखता है, 4 भैंसे रख के, गाय रख के दूध बेचता है 50 रुपए किलो, और उसके कार्ड बने हुए हैं। स्कीम का क्या फायदा अगर ईमानदार आदमी को बेनिफिट नहीं किया? तो कौन है? उसकी डेफिनेशन आज तक नहीं हुई। इसकी इनकम नहीं है, जो बर्तन साफ करके और काम करती है इतने आके, उसके कार्ड नहीं बने।
तो ये सवाल आपका जुनैद जी से है?
मकान में सिर्फ झुग्गी में रहना तो पुअर नहीं है। झुग्गी में रह के भी मोटरसाइकिल निजी है, टेलीफोन है, 4 बच्चे कमाते हैं।
ये सब ये कांग्रेस दे के गई है साहब, ये गरीबों को भी मोटरसाइकिल मिल गई। अभी तो मोटरसाइकिल मोदी जी वो भी ले लेंगे। तो आप कपूर साहब देखिए, गरीब हिंदुस्तान के
डेफिनेशन तो होनी चाहिए ना।
जिसकी आमदनी कम है वो पुअर है, और उसकी आमदनी के लिए पॉलिसीज लेके आई कांग्रेस सरकार।
स्कूटर वाला 200 रुपया रोज कमा लेता है,
तो अब तो हर आदमी के पास स्कूटर लेना हिंदुस्तान में कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है। अब पहले साइकिल लेना मुश्किल था,
जिसके कार्ड ही नहीं बनाते।
अब वो कार्ड का तो खैर नहीं मालूम।
आपकी बात समझे
दिल्ली के अंदर।
जी, कपूर साहब, मैं आपसे मैं आपसे गुजारिश कर रहा कि आपका कहना है इवन डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, यानी सबका विकास नहीं हुआ है, और इस तरह की घोषणा लेकर नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार आई है कि सबका विकास। तो ऐसी उम्मीद की जाए कि सबका विकास होगा, लेकिन सबका विकास होने की जो यात्रा है, उसका जो ढंग है, उसमें कई बार कुछ मुश्किलें आती हैं, ऐसा दिखाई भी दे रहा है। बट कहीं ना कहीं पहले के मुकाबले जवाबदेही सरकार की जनता के प्रति बढ़ेगी, ऐसे आसार दिखाई दे रहे हैं. एंड व्हेन आई से दैट विभूति जी, आई आल्सो सी very open communication and lot of instructions going out from Prime Minister for ministers to be punctual and to be prepared, etc. So I think in the previous government we have not seen this kind of, if we use that authoritative sort of a commanding and clear focused approach. And then I'll seek his response comparing the administrative skills of Narendra Modi and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Though it's too early, but still, what is your take on it?
My take is very simple. India needed certain amount of discipline in work culture. At the moment, what was happening in India is that everything is, Sarkar is my baap. सरकार के पास चले जाओ, सरकार समस्या सुलझा देगी. बट सरकार का काम जो है समस्या सुलझाने का है हमारे सिस्टम में, लेकिन सरकार के पास सारे समस्याओं का समाधान भी नहीं है. So as a result of which, what Mr. Modi is doing is that installing a practice that you have to come to the workplace in time. That is the beginning of the entire dialogue. Now that people are staying up to 9 o'clock is a different matter altogether. But let me my experience. The government of India had a rule that if you stayed in the office after 6 o'clock, till 6 o'clock and beyond, then you could use the official car to drop you home. The result was that everybody would wait till 6:30 so that they could use the official car to take home. That became a farce. I've seen this happen. A lot of my friends are in the government, and I saw them. They were sitting in the office. 6:30 बजे आ जाओ, उसके बाद गाड़ी से हम तुमको drop करवा देंगे. And that led to a whole chain of action of inefficiency. दिन में क्यों काम करें फिर? Now that is what is important. Now you must have heard about it that cupboards of Godrej cupboards of old files had to be removed.
Because now they're selling it.
Yeah. This is a very important administrative matter, that if you have 50,000 cupboards become free of old files that were not required, there was a peon closing the file, shutting it down. So these are a lot of irritations that had to be removed, and these are all the initial steps being taken.
Actually what हुआ क्या है सर, ये देखिए आप, हुआ ये है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी जितने मिनिस्टर बने हैं उनको कोई प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंस तो है नहीं. ठीक है, एक आदमी डंडा लेके आता है कि तुमको सुबह से आना है और शाम तक काम करना है, अगर नहीं करोगे तो तुम्हारे साथ ये होगा और तुम्हारे साथ, मतलब डिक्टेटरशिप. कांग्रेस पार्टी के जितने भी लोग थे, जितने भी मिनिस्टर, नहीं सारे के सारे इफेक्टिव, इंटेलिजेंट, दे नो व्हाट टू डू, दे प्रूव देयर सेल्फ, सारी चीजें बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइज थी. अब यहाँ पे क्या है कि लोग बाग अभी बेचारे उनके पास आए, सुनिए देखिए सुनिए ना,
वो जनता ने भी देखा कि उनका
जो इन काम
इंटेलिजेंस अपार्ट, एफिशिएंसी वाज द सफरर इन द
एफिशिएंसी. अभी आप 9 बजे तक आप एफिशिएंट आदमी थोड़ी होगा.
क्वेश्चन इज
आप 9 बजे तक, सुबह से 9 बजे तक,
said that they have no experience, but everybody
right now they don't have the experience.
Some governmental role or the other as a member of parliament or MLA.
No,
they have been
some people, some people, not everyone.
A new approach.
Let me connect with our viewers also, and I think I lost him. So this is something which is getting into nitty-gritty of the way things are moving, and we don't have all the information, but few of the news details that we gather. So there are rules, and if you have a file sitting on your table for 2 days, then there'll be a question. So, and he mentioned that everybody should keep his office clean and table clean, etc. So there is an approach towards good governance, I must say. But do you see this kind of fits into what he was projecting, dictatorship?
I don't know if it is dictatorship, but I mean, you know, for better or for worse, I mean, Modi campaigned on a promise of running things cleanly, and he did project a certain authoritativeness during the whole campaign. I mean, that's what he told the people he's going to do, and people voted for that. So you have to give him time and see if that is what in the end people will like after a few years. So, you know, these are early days, like I keep saying, you know, it's hard to say. Sometimes people don't realize what they voted for, and later on they may not like what the results of what they voted for is. The other thing to also keep in mind is, you know, this kind of efficient governance has been done both, I think, at the state level by Modi and also by Chandrababu Naidu in Andhra several years ago. And Chandrababu Naidu didn't have a good experience in the ballot box. He was actually voted out after 5 years, even though universally everybody said that Andhra had tremendous both development and efficient government. So sometimes electoral politics is very strange, and we'll have to see how this all plays out.
Right. This is what happened. Modi shows the dream to the people and he came to the power. Now look at this. He did not make any statement. Brutal rape all over the country. He did not make any statement on that, which is the issue that people wants to hear from the Prime Minister or from the leader. He did not make any statement. Then you talk about there is no policies, foreign policies about, he did not talk about Iraq. People are stuck in Iraq, Indian. There's nothing happened on that. We are giving the memorandum to Ambassador Mr. Mulle tomorrow, and the Ambassador to, Secretary General to the United Nations. But Modi ji did not say anything about 40 Indians and the nurses are stuck in Iraq. He's not saying anything. He is just talking about clean up all the nonsense thing.
But the system did respond in the sense that they were found, they were identified where they are, and the nurses made the statement that they have been promised by ISIS that they will be paid their full wages. Now, what I'm saying to say, by calling him a dictator, you demean yourself.
No, I don't.
No, you do demean yourself.
I don't. But the thing,
dictator,
he is.
No, he's not a dictator. What is the basis of calling him a dictator?
Look at the person. No, person
Just
who.
because you have lost power, you don't.
No, it's not that. It's not that. No. But look at this.
And just on that particular issue, Sushma Swaraj, Foreign Minister, also assured the nation that they'll bring back that. Probably is a statement on behalf of Prime Minister Modi, I would assume.
But at least Prime Minister say something, come up to the... He was talking about every nonsense issue. Now this is the important issue. He can come to the press. What's up with that?
As he pointed out very correctly, that external affairs is Sushma Swaraj's portfolio. And
sir, when my Prime Minister, when Manmohan Singh was not talking, he was talking, he's the mum guy, he don't talk. The thing is, so now, if he don't talk, I have to say that he has to come to the people.
I wish you had made instead of you talking.
No, he did.
You are talking here. Let's take a few more calls. Hello, ITV Live. आपकी आवाज आए तो अच्छा लगे. टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम करें, बात करें. ये जो आपकी चुप्पी है उसको लेते हुए मैं अगले कॉल की तरफ बढ़ रहा हूँ. हेलो ITV लाइव.
हाय, हाउ आर यू?
बहुत ही बढ़िया. आप कैसे हैं?
ठीक हूँ. वो जुनेद साहब से मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ.
जुनेद साहब से आपको बड़ा प्रेम हो गया जी. पूछे.
जी सर.
वापस आए इराक से, आपने देखा वो
आ गए इराक से वापस आए
जी. लोग वापस आए आज, आपने देखा न्यूज में?
नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं आए साहब.
आ गए.
अरे वो तो इराक से नहीं आए, वो
इराक से आए.
ना इट्स नॉट, दे डिडंट कम.
एयरपोर्ट पे आए.
अरे वो दुबई से आते हैं, उनको इराक ही बता दिया जाता है. यही तो मीडिया ने करा. आदमी दुबई से लैंड करे, भाई साहब इराक से. यही बीजेपी इस मामले में मास्टर है साहब.
जुनेद जी, मुझे लगता है कांग्रेस के हारने का एक कारण ये कि वो फैक्ट्स को डिनाई करने लगे.
No, it's not the fact.
फोटोज भी आ गए उनके.
चलिए ठीक है, मान
some statements have also been made. Of course सब नहीं आए, 7 आए जी.
इतना मत झूठ बोलिए.
इतना मत बोलिए.
तो बताओ.
नहीं तो देखिए, अब हम मालूम करेंगे उसके बारे में. मुझे अभी तक नहीं मालूम, लेकिन मालूम करें. अगर आ गए तो वेरी नाइस. आई वेलकम दैट एंड आई सपोर्ट बीजेपी पार्टी की. अगर इस तरह के इश्यूज को सॉल्व करती है तो हम विद देम.
तो जुनेद जी, आपको ये तो मानना पड़ेगा, अगर आप झूठ बोलेंगे तो हमारे दर्शक आपसे नाराज हो जाते हैं.
झूठ बोलने की बात ही नहीं है इसमें तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी मास्टर है. मास्टर तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी है इसमें.
लेट मी मूव ऑन टुवर्ड्स अनदर कॉल. ये कैसी आवाज. इस आवाज को लेते हुए हम छोटा सा ब्रेक ले लेते हैं एंड देन वी विल बी राइट बैक. सो स्टे विद अस. वेलकम बैक. यू वॉचिंग इनसाइड टुनाइट विद अशोक व्यास. और हम जो चर्चा कर रहे हैं उस चर्चा को लेते हुए हम थोड़ा और आगे बढ़े और पहले थोड़ी सी बात कर रहे हैं भाषा के बारे में. And indeed, Hindi is important, but there are some questions which have come up again, making some chief ministers to give statements of objecting to imposition of Hindi. Is it the time, Vibhuti ji, for government to touch these kind of sensitive issues where people are divided on the basis of language?
हमने अंग्रेजी भी हिंदी माध्यम में पढ़ी है. मैं बिहार का हूँ और 12वीं क्लास तक, हायर सेकेंडरी तक हमने हिंदी माध्यम में ही सारी पढ़ाई की है. Enter a job market. When you are trying to get into a job market, you have to find that you have to learn English. Now, I'm totally against imposition of any kind. So, with due respect to the official notification that went out that Hindi should be the process, I am personally not in favor of that.
Well, actually,
because of the fact that you do not want to impose anything on anybody. But there's a bigger question to that.
Let me just
question is,
I will come to the bigger question. With a small question, I want to go to money. So, what came in the news was a directive issued by Venkaiah Naidu. He is Minister of what?
Information technology.
So that directive asked all bureaucrats to make use of Hindi while communicating on social media. So that's what I read. So it didn't say that you don't write your normal communication in Hindi.
I think it said that the primary tweeting language should be in Hindi or some such. Yeah.
I see. So do you think that is practical, being someone from computer field?
Well, there are obvious difficulties on one hand, like you mentioned, because of the whole computerization and everybody using English. But I think, language is a very sensitive issue, and there are parts of the country, I come from the south, where Hindi is really not a local language for us. Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan are nobodies in Tamil Nadu, so it's a different culture, and it's sensitive, it's tied up in a lot of politics. And my own view is this is a gradual process over the years. Even I, as I go back to Chennai, I hear more and more Hindi being spoken on the streets as other people from other parts of the country move to Chennai. That's the organic process by which eventually people in India will start speaking in Hindi and communicating. To try to hasten something which is a social issue with government directives, I think, is the wrong thing to do, and especially in the early days when you really want to be uniting, you want to concentrate on the economy.
I want Vinay's comment, and then I'll come to.
This is the beauty of our country, the language. It's not easy to make a language, and we have official 13 language, and because of the language, our country is so rich and so powerful. Rich means in the sanskar, in the values. To make the one language is not easy. So imagine how intelligent people live in country. Now, BJP comes. He said, okay, Tamil bhai, you need to speak in English, Hindi. Malayali bhai, you need to speak in... So this is what a dictatorship. You are spreading the... Leave the guy alone, the Tamil guy, let him talk in his own language. Now Narendra Modi comes and he wants to address in United Nations in Hindi. So what message he's giving to the world?
No, those are separate issues.
But now look at this. Look at this.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way.
Look at this. मेरी हिंदी जो है, मेरी बात सुनिए. I love हिंदी. मैं अपने हिंदी मीडियम से ही पढ़ा हूँ. हिंदी बोलता हूँ. हिंदी में ही बात करना पसंद करता हूँ. लेकिन जहाँ पे सिचुएशन ऐसी आती है कि जहाँ जिसकी भाषा है, अब आप अमेरिका में रहते हैं, आप किसी भी बैंक में चले जाएं, वहाँ पे हिंदी में बात करें तो आदमी बोले भैया क्या कौन सी बात हो रहा है?
This is not about America. Let's put it this way. We have all agreed upon one thing, that imposition of any language is not fair.
I agree with you.
We agree with that.
Right.
But there is a bigger question. The bigger question is that English is a foreign language. It is the British language that we.
Sir, English.
Let me finish.
Sir, English अगर English ना हो तो हमारी country कैसे जाएगी आगे?
Please hold on. I'll come back to you. So basically, the way the controversy has found its shape, is it the real intent of the government? That also I want.
Yes, it was not the real intent.
What has happened is when there were voices against it, they kind of backtracked, or rather issued certain clarification.
Right.
And then they even went ahead saying that these are only applicable for Hindi belt.
Right. They clarified that stand, and this was one of those cases which we saw in the BBC serial, Yes Minister, Yes Prime Minister. There was some kind of a bureaucratic play here. So I think that clarified, as you rightly pointed out, and everybody agrees. But here is a bigger issue.
Yes.
The bigger issue is that India has released itself and attained the freedom from British rule. English was the British language. Now we have learned that.
Right.
But remember one thing, English is not an easy language. So if you could learn English, I'm very sure if I tried, I could learn Tamil. Tamil people can.
Tamil.
Does India need of a language of its own? That is a question to be asked. Do we need, or do we still live under the slavery mentality?
No, it's not the slavery mentality. It's a open.
And India will have its language when we will have Bill Gates kind of somebody devises a window in Hindi language, or somebody comes up with a device
I mean, that's
that
what-
is globally accepted.
that's what the
Or India
BJP
makes its own airplane and has a manual written in Hindi. Something like that will happen.
देखिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एजेंडा ये है कि इम्पोज करें हिंदी को इम्पोज
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के चेयरमैन है
नहीं चेयरमैन नहीं, लेकिन इसमें जबरदस्ती फोर्सफुली कि भाई आपको हिंदी में बोलना पड़ेगा। चीफ मिनिस्टर को आप बोल रहे हैं कि आप तमिल चीफ मिनिस्टर को, आप मलयाली चीफ मिनिस्टर को बोल रहे हैं कि आपको हिंदी में बोलना
Anybody has said that. No,
पड़ेगा। आप सेंडिंग द लेटर्स
Listen, I agree with you. I sympathize with your.
No, but the thing is, don't
You guys
impose.
have given a power
Don't
for
impose.
many years, and you can't see anything positive happening.
That's-
on
no,
the
but
let me just make one quick point.
Please hold your point. Let me try and connect with one more viewer. Hello, ITV Live.
हेलो,
हाँ साहब
हाँ जी, ये हिंदी की बात कर रहे हैं।
जी।
अशोक जी, ये महात्मा गांधी गुजराती होते हुए उसने कहा था कि देश की भाषा हिंदी होनी चाहिए। अगर हिंदी को पढ़ाना ठोंसना है तो ये बताया जाए पंजाब में गुरुमुखी क्यों ठोंस दी, कौन सी जुबान थी ये? आज भी पंजाब में 50% हिंदू हैं, लेकिन गुरुमुखी दिल्ली तक ठोंस दी गई। दिल्ली की जुबान गुरुमुखी कब हुई थी? उर्दू थी पार्टीशन से पहले सारे पंजाब की।
तो ये काफी सारे कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इश्यूज इसके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। तो
ये ठोंसी जा रही है। अब हिंदी की बात आती तो कांग्रेसियों को चिढ़ है कि क्यों ठोंसी जा रही है।
ये इनका मानना है कि आप चिढ़ते हैं हिंदी से।
अरे बिल्कुल नहीं भैया, हिंदी तो मेरी सबसे अच्छी जबान, सबसे मीठी जबान और सबसे अच्छी अपनी फीलिंग्स को बताने वाली, अपनी मोहब्बत दिखाने वाली हिंदी जबान है। तो हिंदी जबान तो मुझे सबसे ज्यादा पसंद है। अगर पूरे दुनिया में
हाथी के दांत हैं आपके।
जो महात्मा गांधी हैं,
अब इनके साथ मैं क्या करूं, इनके साथ मैं क्या
शायद
करूं।
इन्होंने कुछ और कहा, मुझे ऐसा सुनाई दिया।
जी।
सो आपका धन्यवाद करते हुए let me move towards money. What were you saying, sir?
No, I just wanted to make a quick point. One is to keep in mind that, we may decry English as being a foreign language and all of that, but a lot of the IT boom in the 90s, which has served India so well, was
That's
primarily
because
because
of
India
English. Because
has
of
a
English.
big workforce that understands English.
Yep.
If not, that would not have been possible.
Right.
That's
So
exactly
let's be
what I
realistic.
said. It is a job-related situation where we had to learn English.
Right.
So that is the reality at the ground level.
And now everybody, I mean, you have to see the hypocrisy of this thing.
No.
The people want to send their children to the English medium school.
Right.
They don't want to send it in Hindi. Even the leaders of the, whatever the party, they want to send the kids in a Harvard or whatever the colleges, even in primary school English medium. And now,
ये कहाँ पढ़े थे सर?
now, then you talk about this Hindi. So this is completely hypocrisy of that.
It's not a hypocrisy. I mean, I would agree with this thing that no imposition of any language must happen. There was a time, right at the time of independence, Mr. Nehru lost the golden opportunity.
Yeah.
India had just gained independence, and that time if we had made Hindi a national language, it would have become one. But it didn't happen, and the multiple languages were to be promoted, which is again correct idea.
I mean, this is the beauty of our country. This is the power
Otherwise,
of
India
the
is
country.
Pakistan. Otherwise, India is
That's right.
Sri Lanka.
I agree with you.
India is glad we are all in agreement.
No, I agree with you. But the thing is, imposing by the government, that's not.
It was not imposition.
It was
an administrative action. Which
So that is the start. That is the start. Administration imposed to the people that, you know what, you need to talk in.
Astrologer is sitting in you now. You can see what is going to happen in future. But let me see what our viewers are talking about it. Hello, ITV Live. नमस्कार, आप तक आ रही है मेरी आवाज?
हेलो,
हाँ साहब, नमस्कार. Welcome to Inside Tonight. What's your name, sir? आप टीवी का वॉल्यूम कम कर दें तो बातचीत जल्दी हो सकेगी.
हेलो,
हाँ. आपका शुभ नाम? हाँ
फिर बोल बसरा
जी सर, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे भाषा संबंधी जो बात चल रही है उसके बारे में? इतना ज्यादा हाँ, या गो अहेड.
I can't hear you.
Okay, so then we'll come back to you. Hello, ITV Live.
Hi, my name is Satish Bangera, and if anyone has a question like why Congress lost, you should listen to this Junaid.
Oh, is it?
The way he's conducting himself, he doesn't allow other people to talk, and at some point, what he's talking, it's not at all. It's far off from the fact. I mean, who is going to vote for somebody who represents party like this?
Right, Baghel Saab, you're so right. That's why we lost it. Thank you very much for your comment.
So I think you try and see something good about him. He is standing by certain principles and he is candid enough to share them. So just because he's sitting near me and I don't want to be in agreement with you 100%. Partly I may agree with what you're saying. But I appreciate your call anyway. Let's talk about Hindi now. तो हिंदी, अंग्रेजी और अन्य भाषाओं की बात जब चलती है तो अभी ये सिलसिला शुरू हुआ कि क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार सब पर हिंदी लादने की कोशिश कर रही है? क्या आपको ऐसा लगता है?
नहीं, लादने की कोशिश तो नहीं कर रहा है, क्योंकि ये हिंदी भाषा की एम्फेसिस ये पहले भी कई साल पहले भी शुरू हुआ था, जब सारे गवर्नमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स वगैरह हिंदी में आने स्टार्ट किए थे. So at any point, I don't think so. None of the parties they imposed it, but they always tried to make sure that at least there's some kind of a common language. For all practical purpose, I feel that English is a better official language.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your call, sir.
Good job.
कुछ जो थोड़ा समय हमारे पास बचा है, मैं चाहता हूँ हम बात करें नरेंद्र मोदी जी की अमेरिका यात्रा के बारे में. तो बहुत सारे लोगों की इच्छा रही थी कि वो अमेरिका नहीं आए एंड देयर वर पीपल हु लॉबीड फॉर and then visa was denied. That was in 2006?
2005.
2005. And now, not only visa is being given, of course, now he's Prime Minister of India, so he'll be coming meeting President Obama and also would be addressing Congress. So, Junaid, I want to begin with you and briefly, how do you see the significance of Indian Prime Minister addressing American Congress members for India as an Indian?
No, I mean, it will be a very good thing. I mean, I will be proud for us as being Indian that, Prime Minister of India is coming addressing U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress. So it will be a good thing. Let's see what he's going to say.
Absolutely. And will he address in English or Hindi? What do you think?
I suppose the U.S. Congress he will address in English. And this is a wonderful opportunity. He showed statesmanship leadership by accepting the invitation that came from President Obama. And President Obama did the right thing as well, because with that action, he erased the ugly past of the visa issue. And Mr. Modi said it very openly that as a personal part, I don't have to take it personal. It is an institutional matter. And I'm going to go because I'm invited to go. And this is the biggest impact that will happen is that Mr. Modi will define, and I hope he does, he sets the narrative for himself. At the moment, people are imagining and branding him as such. For example, a very famous Indian television commentator said that he has a dark side of Hindu nationalism. So that was the way the Western media defined him. And I think with this address, he will be able to set the narrative that he wants the world to know India and himself as well.
I appreciate that. And just a minute with us. So, Mani, what do you think might be the basic theme with which he would address? And considering he has sort of a deep knowledge of Indian culture, etc., do you see this would probably increase awareness amongst Americans about what India is all about?
It's possible, though. I suspect that he'll probably stick to economic themes because that's probably what is the most required item of the day. It's also a good opportunity for the U.S. because I think this is a big fence. They had to sort of fix the fences, so to speak, because they had made a big blunder when denying him the visa, and the Obama administration, even though that happened in the Bush administration, Obama and his people didn't really do anything to undo that. So now this is kind of a face-saving gesture for them to say, not only will we give you a visa, but we'll give you a bigger honor. And they do realize the strategic importance of India. I mean, Pakistan and Afghanistan being what it is today. So it's going to be a very key moment, and I'm hoping that he's going to take good advantage of it.
Wonderful. So thank you V.S. Mani ji, Vibhuti Jha ji and Junaid Qazi साहब, और आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जो खुलापन होता है उसको लेकर ही अमेरिका हाथ बढ़ाता है और बाएं फैलाकर स्वागत करता है भारत के प्रधानमंत्री का, और उसी खुलेपन को लेते हुए दो राष्ट्रों के बीच संबंध मजबूत करने के लिए भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी स्वीकार करते हैं उस आमंत्रण को। और उन्होंने पहले भी कई जगह इस बात का परिचय दिया है कि उनके अंदर उदारता और वो दृष्टि है कि वो किसी बुरी बात को अपने अंदर पकड़ कर नहीं रखते हैं। जुनैद मेरी तरफ देख रहे हैं, लेकिन स्मृति ईरानी ने ये बात अपने इंटरव्यू में अपने अनुभव को लेते हुए भी कही थी, एंड उन्होंने ये भी कहा था कि हम गड़े मुर्दे नहीं उखाड़ेंगे, आगे बढ़ेंगे। एंड ही हैज कंसिस्टेंटली सेड कि जो बातें ऐसी हैं जो निगेटिव हैं उनको लेके बैठेंगे तो अच्छे काम करने का वक्त कहाँ रहेगा। सो लेट अस सी कि अच्छे काम कितनी तादाद में और कितनी गति से और कितनी प्रखरता से नई सरकार कर पाती है। बातचीत और पुल बनाने का हमारा काम हम जारी रखेंगे कल। आप सबका आभार, नमस्कार।